Welcome again to GLF Bonn 2020. Now, you are joining other 4,000 plus people who are participating in this year's conference. In case you're watching on Facebook, you know what to do, right? Right? It's okay, I can tell you if you don't know. Just go over to the website Global Landscapes Forum, and there you can register to participate in this conference. And that's not all. You will also get a chance to meet, interact, share ideas on the platform. All right? Go over and do that and still listen because we still have a lot more packed for you. Now, though, it's time for me to hand over the microphone that I have been using, this MC microphone. I have been moderating GLF events for 3 years now, and each time I am challenged about doing more. This year, I am partnering with GLF to donate my honorarium to a Kenyan-based NGO. Like Tony Simons on yesterday's forum, opening plenary said, and many others have shared, the responsibility has to begin from you. This is what I'm doing. I'm putting the money where my mouth is. I'd love to stay connected and hear how you are taking a step in changing the landscape. So after this introduction, I will leave, but I will still be in the conference and we can talk in between sessions on the Hoover app. I have it, do you? Make sure you download it. It only costs about 10 US dollars. And don't worry, I'm leaving you in the very capable hands. It's not easy to be an outspoken environmentalist in Brazil, but Faye Cortez manages to make it not only seem effortless, but chic. She is the founder of Menos Umlixo, a reusable cup company, and she uses the brand as a vehicle for educating people about reducing waste and using the planet's resources more wisely. But right now, we move on to the next session with our ears and eyes tuned for ideas to help preserve ecosystems and the lives and livelihoods of those who depend on them. To start us off, let's follow documentary makers Michael Du and Justin Davey to the island of Negros Oriental in the Philippines, where they traveled last year to meet with community members and local experts like Camille Rivera of Marine Conservation Philippines, who are making impressive efforts to protect and restore mangrove ecosystems through reforestation projects and sea patrol to deter illegal fishing. This session is your chance to immerse yourself in the ecologically yet critically but often forgotten realm of a mangrove forest, minus all the bugs and all the mud. Let's kick it off with a welcome message from Michael Du. Michael?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Wanchiku, for guiding us through this conference so far. A note for our Spanish and French-speaking audience, the session is going to be in English. So if you're using a desktop computer, you can join us in Spanish and French with a live translation. Please just click on the interaction links in the session description to access this. Now, about myself, my name is Michael Du. Once again, I'm the editor for Bais City. It's an online community for people to connect, explore different perspectives, and create various kinds of media. I'd like you all to just stay on your toes today because we've got a lot to show you. Now, our first stop will be the Hidden Heroes short documentary by Justin Davey, featuring this mangrove conservation work in the region of Negros Oriental in the Philippines. Second, you'll get an aerial view of Negros Oriental during our virtual tour through the mangroves. We'll be guided by my colleague, marine conservationist and community member, Camille Rivera. Afterwards, we'll answer all your questions and you can come back here to see our Q&A. Thank you very much.
Para sa imuha ang kadagatan. Sa imuhang pagtanaw ani sugod siguro pagpunta nimo.
Para nako ning kadagatan murag mo ni mo ang kuan ba kanang gitawag na mo panginabuhian jud namo tanan kay wala mamilain nga kuan kining kuan sa og moadto mi sa Mala wala man may mga grado nga ikakuan dito mo nang amo jung gi kuan ang amo ang mga kuan nga ani jud sa dagat kay mao man ni amo ang matan jud hayag nga kami dinhi jud mi na nabuhi sa dagat.
Ano daw ka na hinubantay dagat diri sa Bais?
Kuan lang ma'am kanang kami gihimo ming bantay dagat dire kay naka-experience na mi ining sa dagat niya labi na sa among gibantayan niya santuary daghan gaya ng mga isda gani ang mga kadtong managat nga kuan gani mo managat sila nga kawat ta jig panagat gani usahay murang amo jung gi bantayan pag-ayon tungod sa aron pud nga ang mga mananagat pod makakuan pod ining mga isda dire pod o mga mo gawas ni mga isda.
Karon nakita nimo ang benepisyo sa protected area.
Nakita nako nga ning daghan jud ug maayo ang isda dire sa sanctuary.
The guards, they were just telling you that there's no more fish before. And when they protected that part of the ocean, suddenly, after 6 years of just protection, they had a lot of fish. So the sea guards now are there to kind of protect that resource away from the illegal fishermen. It's still apparent all over Philippines. They wanted food to eat. It's just too much people. So they are there to kind of the forefront protectors in our ocean. It's really just amazing on what they do there. I'm engaging them to think kind of long term, telling them like, this is for you, this is for the future of your children, future of children's children. And I think that's what we're working on, just connecting that first step. Get the mangroves out there and then it will connect in the future.
So is koan ngano kung connected aning mangroves is the gituring na ako ning mangrove is part of my best friend, my life. Yeah, because sa una is gamay pa ko is kanunay ming magdula sa kuan bisan pa man is wala ko nakabalog unsa siya dai ka importante pero kauban na siya nako sa akong pagdako. Tapos is gamay pa ko wala pa ko'y kalibutan og naunsa is ug unsay namitay ana or nabunga nila is ako na siyang gitanom-tanom. Ana sila nako kamahal kaayo sa nga tanan. Para sa ako karon is grabe ko kaayo ka proud na ug unsa di ay nang gikan sa community na ganahan ko ug unsay akong nahibal-an na ma-share di ay sa lain. Kay karon pa pud mi nakabalo na kaning ug unsa kadaghan anang gihatag na benepisyo sa atong mangroves na kauban diini sa ato ang kinabuhi. Kay mo na naghatag sa kuan sa kadaghanan ani sa pagkaon sa mga makuha pud sa mga tawo. Kauban anang hanang haron maka confirm mi sa haron og kanang sa una is gamay ra kaayo makuha ang mga tawo sa mga crabs, sa mga isda, pero karon bisan og gamay ra mi sa community na gabuhat ani pero the whole community na nabilong diri sa among bay na nagproduce po nila og pagkaon.
Hey everybody, welcome to our virtual tour. Today we're going to be giving you an inside look at the mangrove and aquatic ecosystems that Camille showed us. That right there is our boat. So Camille, where are we at the moment?
Hi everyone, hi Michael. Yes, welcome to our virtual tour. I'm so excited to show you around as well. We are on our way to the Talabong Mangrove Park and Bird Sanctuary, which is located in Negros Oriental in the Philippines, and it's also part of the Tanyon Strait Protected Seascape. Now, Tanyon Strait Protected Seascape was established since 1998 and is the largest seascape in the Philippines. It has an area of about 5,182 square kilometers. And it's a very important conservation area because of migratory animals such as the whale sharks and cetaceans and all the whales that are found here.
So if I remember correctly, the guy we're looking at here is a Bantay Dagat or sea warden. What does his day-to-day consist of out here?
So in that city, they have about 45 sea wardens and they shift every 2 weeks, but they patrol 24/7. At times it can be quiet, but then they're very active at night because there are spare fishes around the area and they also look out for commercial vessels. Now they have different rules around here because it's a protected seascape and the consequences are stricter compared to other locally managed areas. Most often they follow the city ordinance where they get community service for the first to second offense, and the third time they get jailed until 3 years.
All right, so we're pulling up on the inland area. What is going on in this interaction between mangroves and sea here?
So the mangroves are the interface between the land and the sea. They are especially very important in reducing the sediment from the upland before it reaches to the coral reef. Now these ecosystems are very well connected, more than we know. Most of the fish life cycle live among the tangling roots of the mangroves to protect themselves from the predators, and also they get to eat a lot here. And they live here until they reach maturity before they go out to the seagrass or they go out to the coral reefs.
All right, so now we're looking at one of the many plant species that we encountered during our time. How important is an area like this for plant biodiversity, and why are species like this so important?
So the more diverse the area is, the more it produces different ecosystem services. So the one you see earlier is a rhizophorus species, which is again important for juvenile fishes because they can hide among those roots, but it also increases fish production. And some species protect from intense storm and typhoon that we get a lot here annually.
Right now we're pulling up onto one of the fisheries in the area. Is it illegal to have fish ponds in this area?
So the ones you see below are passive fish pens. Apparently it is allowed in this area as long as it is regulated and it's aided by the government funds. Now Tanyon Strait is categorized in IUCN as Category 5, which means that it covers an entire body of ocean for nature conservation, but it also accommodates communities to interact more with the sea as long as there are set conditions to ensure sustainability of the area.
By the way, were the mangroves in the city of Bais for a long time? What's the current state of mangroves for the city in general?
From my discussion with the communities here, they used to have about 800 hectares of mangroves years ago, probably 1990s. There was a time that then they were allowed to produce fish pond. Now the mangrove forest left is only approximately 250 hectares in that city alone. In the country, there's about 250,000 hectares left out of 500,000 in the 1920s due to the exploitation just for aquaculture, agriculture, and just human settlement.
Where are we overlooking now?
Yes, now we are looking at hundreds of hectares of fish ponds. Some are private, leased, underutilized, some are abandoned as well. This is the leading cause of mangrove loss in the country. These ponds are used to produce shrimps, fish, and other aquatic animals with actually a fast return of investment. Not only does it remove the mangroves, but it also affects the water quality that goes out to the sea. In fact, whatever goes out reduces the light penetration that affects the coral reefs the most.
All right, now let's go to one of the coolest places you brought us to, the Saiton Mangrove Forest. This recently became an ecotourism site.
Yes, it's one of my favorites as well. I actually helped to build that ecotourism site with the community. Now, the lady you saw is Evelyn, and she's a very passionate and very active community member. They have about 40 members in their association that protects the mangrove forest. We started teaching them more alternative livelihood, but we saw how she's very interested with the mangrove rehabilitation because she's very connected to the forest for over 30 years.
So these people wading through the water, what are they doing exactly?
So these people are just the locals, and they go out to fish or to collect crabs. Some of these locals came from about 5 to 10 kilometers away, and they just go here to get or collect food. They get oysters and crabs and mud lobsters. In fact, it's a food source for the community here.
This is so funny. I remember them diving into the water pretending the drone was a helicopter.
Yeah, I remember that. They were actually telling each other to hide under the water because they will be attacked by the buzzing noise of the drone. So they were really funny, and they just enjoyed watching whatever they see out there.
I distinctly remember you showing us this leaf. What's so special about it, and why is this tree so different?
Oh yes, so the mangroves are in a difficult situation where they need to adapt in a salty and muddy environment, or else they won't survive. So one adaptation characteristic they have is to move the excess salt or the salt concentration into one leaf, and they sacrifice that leaf in order for the tree to survive. That leaf falls down and gets decomposed by different animals, and the organic nutrients gets recycled back, which is pretty amazing. That is why it's an important ecosystem for fisheries because of its organic rich sediment.
So does this area that we're looking at go directly into the ocean?
Yes, that is correct. We are looking into a bay which used to have seagrass beds, and then the ocean where you see the diverse coral reefs. So these areas here are interconnected. You see, we have agriculture land up in the mountains, and having these mangroves here protects the coral reefs from excess sediments and effluents and nutrient pollution. The roots of the mangroves help stabilize those sediments coming from upland, which then helps reduce the sediments out into the sea.
What you're seeing here are some of the young mangrove trees that have been planted in this area. Camille, can you tell us about the process of planting these?
Yes, it's very evident that those were planted, but they were planted for the wrong reasons and for the wrong method. In fact, nature doesn't give straight lines, right? So planting mangroves takes understanding the ecology, the zonation, and the hydrology of the environment. So that is why we started teaching the communities the proper planting by assessing which species grow best in which area. Now, there's many to take into consideration, such as what tidal cycle you are in. Is it the neap tide or the spring tide? Now, neap tide is the best because there is less difference between the high tide and the low tide. And that means your seedlings will survive. And it's best to plant that specific species where you know the mother trees are there, because then that means they survive there the most. Thank you so much, Michael. I enjoyed explaining and touring you around the place. I hope you can ask more questions and I can more explain what you can see out there. Yeah.
All right, everybody, that just about wraps up our tour here. Thank you, Camille, for showing us these beautiful places that you call home. Now, let's jump into the Q&A. Welcome back. If you did not make it all the way through, that is totally okay. The documentary will be up on the WOFA platform, and you can also visit vopas2.com for behind-the-scenes footage on the personalities and conservation efforts that we explored. So before we get into any of our questions, I'd like to introduce my colleagues. Hey, you two, please introduce yourselves and tell us where you're streaming in from.
Hi, I'm Camille Rivera. I'm a marine conservationist and community manager here in the Marine Conservation Philippines. I'm on top of a hill trying to get the internet and Wi-Fi working, so it's good.
Hey everyone, my name is Justin Davey. Thank you for tuning in to the documentary. I'm here in the United Kingdom today. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
All right, so our first question is for Camille. What is the current situation regarding marine conservation Philippines during COVID-19?
Yeah, so the organization now is taking a temporary break as we are affected by the COVID-19 because we don't have volunteers coming into the country. The operation conservation-wise and the rehabilitation efforts has been stopped. So until we can safely say that the COVID-19 is not a threat anymore.
All right, and another question here. Justin, what was your motivation for creating this documentary?
Yeah, so initially my vision was to travel throughout the entire Pacific region, meeting with different ocean conservationists. But due to financial and temporal restrictions, we ended up focusing on the Philippines to really learn what it's like to be an ocean-dependent community. And while I really wanted to focus on kind of indigenous voices, those people in the field, on the front line, really working without the need for or desire for attention or wealth. They were really working for their community. I really wanted to amplify their voice. I'd been to enough like UN climate change conferences to know that these are the voices that don't get heard so much. And so I thought it would be worthwhile to make a film about these people who are doing the work and not really getting a lot of the credit. And so that was my main impetus for making this short documentary.
All right, and we have another question from the audience. This question is, how can mangrove forests be used for climate resilience as mangroves act as a barrier against tidal and storm surges? And a special treat for this one, to answer this, we are thrilled to present a video to you from Daniel Murdiarso. This video is called 5 Things You Might Not Know About Mangroves. Find it in the videos section under the additional resources in the VOVA app. Now we have another question here. This one is for Camille. How do you motivate the community without compromising the main objectives of a project? Basically, how can you cultivate a long-term conservation mindset while building ownership for a project?
That's actually a good question because I think all around the world, we are having a hard time with motivating the communities. And I think there's 2 things I want to discuss. One is more like the scientific perspective about it. So we know that mangrove trees, from the start, they will take about 30 to 40 years to mature and grow. By then, they will only be functional to provide ecosystem services. Now, this service could be providing fish and protection from storms. But then in a community perspective, where I really worked on, they're only thinking about what food to get right now. They're not able to wait 30 years or 40 years. So we need to think as environmentalists, as ecologists, as policymakers, we need to ask, what do the community need right now? And then we need to also compromise the needs of environmentalists to protect the mangrove forest and the needs of the community as well. So in our project, we asked them first before making the mangrove rehabilitation, we asked them what do they want. The first thing they mentioned was ecotourism. By then, we secured funds, we built their mangrove boardwalk. What happened next was really critical because they were able to be motivated to continue working with us. They help us with the mangrove rehabilitation. They're very motivated to do it. And I think the second point I want to really clear out is to look for that community champion or a community leader that is influencing the whole community members. So I think having that person is the one that motivates the other people around her or him. And also having that person will get more youth, which happened to us. She was able to get more youth into it, and the youth are the ones going out to the field and planting more mangroves. So I think having more, involving the community in the planning process of this rehabilitation is, I think, makes it more the success of the project. I think it is really important. They are very, very involved and they are being listened to. Again, what Justin said, they don't have the voice. And having been listened by someone, they will feel motivated and they will feel the ownership of the project because they are involved in that planning process.
Very good answer. This next question is also related to the mangroves as well. It reads, severe cyclonic storms from climate change is harming flora, fauna, and the people living in the mangrove forests. How can we protect mangrove forests from these situations?
That's a good question, because in the Philippines we get typhoon about 18 to typhoons a year. It's really hard because are you trying to protect the mangroves or are you trying to protect the communities? But we need that balance, right? So I think by increasing rehabilitation efforts or increasing restoration efforts, we will be able to protect more both sides, the mangrove community, the mangrove species, and also the communities as well. But it's a very tricky question because yes, there are a lot of severe storms right now happening, but what is the question? What do they want? Who do they want to protect? Communities are also important because they are also trying to protect the mangrove forest.
All right, this next question is about investment. So perhaps you could speak about from your own experience, but where are the investments for reforestation projects coming from? Are they coming from private investors? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so in our experience, they are coming from foundations. They are coming from other it's more like foundations, not really government as well. They are giving that there is a budget for government to provide restoration efforts, so it's both foundation and government entities.
All right, and this next question is for Justin. Did the community like being filmed?
Overall, I would say yes, people enjoyed the experience. I think Evelyn was a little like suspicious of me. She was like, "Who's this guy turning up in my forest to ask me questions about my work?" Which I think is a normal reaction. So I think having Camille there was essential to kind of be the connector for the different individuals. But yeah, for like anyone trying to do this work, you have to build trust before just like getting the microphone and the camera out. So I think that's probably the biggest lesson learned is like meet these people, talk to them, build a relationship. Don't just expect them to tell you everything about their life when you've just walked in for 5 minutes. I think that's an important thing to take away.
All right, and this next one is, I suppose it's for all of us. Did you all have fun on the side? I suppose we had some fun. I enjoyed my time.
It was nice. It was nice having you guys.
Camille, do you still have people in where you are, or is it pretty much locked down?
We have the quarantine and a lot of social distancing and just mask. But it's back to business as usual. But really, you need to go safe, like distance. But there's no diving, there's no swimming. Yeah, it was just really bad.
All right, so team, as we're running a little bit low on time here, I'd like to ask both, first Camille and then Justin, what do you have planned moving forward and where can people go to learn more about your work?
So I want to use this platform. If you can go into Instagram, I made an Instagram account. It's called Mangroves for the Future. It's an education platform to showcase the beauty and the wildlife of the mangroves. And also I want to use this platform to also say that we're making an organization together with my colleagues around Philippines, doing more community conservation and food security and livelihood with digitalization involved in it. So if you are very interested, please contact me and in my LinkedIn as well.
Great. Right now, I'm working on a small sustainable fashion line called Pocket Bread Resortwear. So you can go to pocketbreadresortwear.com. And if anyone's interested in visiting the Philippines, I would highly recommend sending Camille a message and she can facilitate a perfect tour or whatever you're looking to do in the Philippines. Environmentally speaking, she's kind of the perfect resource to go towards.
How about you, Micah? What's your COVID-19?
Oh, yes. So For the Vobis Dude platform I'm running, we have a round of publication upcoming in about 15 to 20 days. So you can go there, learn about many different cultures, different communities, and consume different types of media. So folks, that is all the time we really have left for today. I implore you to reach out to us on the WOVA app after this session if you've got questions on the topics or things that you've seen. Thank you to Camille, thank you Justin, thank you to Global Landscapes Forum, and most importantly, thank you to everybody watching. Thank you for your time. We hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
See you. Thank you.